Hi everyone, my name is Steph. This is the Novelty Corner and welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today I have my 2023 DNFs part 2. So I filmed one of these in the middle of the year and then I am doing the second part, and I don't know how much I'm going to be able to talk about these books because some of them I DNF'd within a couple of pages. I can't really tell you very much about them at all. And honestly, once I DNF a book, it kind of leaves my brain. So there are a few that I'll be able to expand on ideas a little bit. Others, it'll just be I DNF'd it. And typically speaking, if I DNF a book, it's one, either the writing annoys me, two, the characters annoy me, or three, there is something in the book that just bothers me, whether it is racist or homophobic or something like that, that just bothers me, like to no end. So we're going to go through the list, and yeah, some of them I'll be able to say more about than others, but hopefully you enjoy it because I know people like knowing more about the DNFs. And the first book is a perfect example of me having absolutely no recollection of this book. It's On the Fly by Kenyhercz, which is a hockey romance, and I was probably just reading it while I was reading through a bunch of hockey romance books, and this was probably entirely down to the writing style that I just didn't click with. Then there is Power Play by Allyson and Power Play by Katherine. Both of these were DNFs for the same vlog because I was reading hockey books called Power Play. And yeah, I don't know why. I think that it's a good idea to pick a theme and read books all by the same title. I am doing it again in 2024, but we're going to hope that it does not end as badly as these two books. Power Play by Allyson, I think the characters were just unbearable in the first couple of pages and I just couldn't keep reading. And then the one by Katherine must have just been because I didn't enjoy the writing. Releasing Rage by Cynthia was another one that I read and DNF'd, and this one was very much driven by the fact that I didn't like the character. There was something about the character, and I think it was, I'm pretty sure I didn't like the way the character was talking about the heroine. So the hero was talking about the heroine in the story. It just really, really bothered me and just sort of set a few alarm bells ringing. So I DNF'd that one. Snowed In by Allyson, Lindt and Shaylin. I honestly can't remember the reason why I DNF'd this one. This is a polyamorous story. Most of Allyson Lindt's books are. It must have been something to do with the writing style or the initial setup, because I know I didn't get very far into it at all. A Holly Jolly Ever After by Julie Murphy and Simone is one that I wish that I didn't DNF, but honestly, I have not enjoyed their collaborations. And to me, that's really disappointing because I'm a huge Simone fan. I have loved her books. I don't know if it's because this one is being traditionally published. I've also not read any of Julie Murphy's books. And honestly, I don't really feel like I want to after reading these collaborations, because I read the first book in this series and it was fine. And you know, I love the premise of these books. I love how sex positive they are. I love the quirkiness of the characters, but I think they're almost too quirky for me. And I think it's trying to be too tongue-in-cheek, and it doesn't sit right with me. Like I don't enjoy it, to the point where I've questioned, do I even want to continue reading Simone? And she's an author that I really, really, really love, but I couldn't stand this book. I started reading it. I think I got maybe a quarter of the way through and I didn't like it. Icebreaker by Nichole Rose is another hockey romance. This one was just not for me. The writing was not there at all. Arden and the Girl Downstairs by Amber Davis was a book that I picked up at Rare because I wanted to support some more Australian indie authors, and I just did not like the writing style of this at all. I think I got maybe 4 or 5 chapters in and I couldn't keep reading. The Outback Governess by Sarah Williams. I didn't get very far into this one either. I can't remember why. This is another Australian author. I'd had this for ages and I just started reading it and I just was not at all engaged by the writing. Heart of Stone by Demelza Carlton is a paranormal romance by an Australian author. This one I wanted to read. I really wanted to like it because it's a gargoyle romance, but I just could not get into it. A bit like the other books, I just was not engaged. I couldn't make myself keep reading, and I shouldn't have to make myself keep reading. That's the point of DNFs. A Fate of Wrath and Flames by K.A. Tucker was a book that Robin had picked for me to read as part of her choosing my TBR. I really wanted to like it. I have enjoyed K.A. Tucker's work before, but this is a fantasy romance, and I'm okay with fantasy romance if it's very character driven, but this had a lot of world building in the first 100 pages. Like I gave it about 120, 130 pages, and I just was not at all interested. Yeah, I've got a vlog. I talk about it in the vlog. Law by Mayne, and this one I was so sad. I was so sad to DNF this one. I just couldn't get into it. I love this series. I love the Monster series so much, and I just could not get into it. And in a lot of ways, this is kind of a soft DNF. I do want to come back and try it at some point because I have loved the series so much to this point, and I really, really want to be able to get through this book. but I couldn't do it this year. I just wasn't happening. Another one I really wanted to love because it's Nalini Singh, and you guys know I'm a Nalini Singh fan, was Lord of the Abyss, which is an older title by her. It's a paranormal romance. I think it was part of, oh gosh, I can't remember which imprint it was. Was it Nocturne? Yeah, it was a Harlequin Nocturne. And I really wanted to like it. I just couldn't get into it. Like, I started reading it and I was just bored. And I hate saying that about Nalini Singh's books. There was The Ice Kiss by Steele, which is another hockey romance. I read a lot of very ordinary hockey romance books this year in my efforts to find really good ones. And this was just one of them. Wicked Wings by Briggs. I think I tried for my Angel reading vlog and just this didn't work at all. Grumpy as Puck by Lynx. This was a book that I picked up on a Stuff Your Kindle day. Again, hockey romance. Just didn't like the characters in this one. They rubbed me the wrong way. Delay of Game by Baran was a book that I had as a NetGalley review copy. It's a new release hockey romance, and I couldn't get into it. This was another one where the characters just didn't work for me. Like, I think I got a quarter of the way into it and I just felt uncomfortable. And I can't even put my finger on why I felt uncomfortable. It just didn't work for me. Then there are two Sheridan books, Kiss My Pucking Base and Don't You Pucking Dare, in her Kings of Denver series. This one, I very clearly remember, and I remember talking about this. I could not stand the way that the female characters in this book spoke about other women. They were just so bitchy. That's the only way to put it. And one of the quickest ways to turn me off a book is to have women just putting other women down constantly. And look, it's a new adult romance. I get it. They're young adults. They really haven't finished developing their brain, but that's no reason to just constantly talk down anyone that you don't like. I would actually rather them not talk about other female characters than have them actually be rude as anything to other women. Like, just, you don't need to have that in a book these days, especially in a romance. There's Santa's Sack by C.H. James, which I read or started reading for my Christmas themed sports romance KU vlog that I did with B. This one, I just couldn't stand the way that the heroine was talking about her weight. It's one thing to bring it up once, but when it comes up, I think I talked about it in the vlog, when it comes up multiple times, and like, it's just so unnecessary. It's so unnecessary, and it comes across as fatphobic. And finally, there was Jingle Devil by Melissa Ivers, which is another hockey romance. Just didn't like it, and I should have known better because I've DNF'd Melissa Ivers before, and I don't learn. I don't learn because I want to be optimistic about books. I don't learn. I've learned. No more Melissa Ivers for me. So those are the DNFs in the second half of the year. I did count up my total. I have DNF'd 35 books total. Considering like in 2022, I probably would have only DNF'd 10 to 15 books. This is a significant improvement on me not reading things that I don't want to read. So we take that as a win. In the comments below, I'd love to know, 1, do you DNF books? And 2, what are some of the books that you have DNF'd in 2023? DNFing is good for the soul. We need to talk about it more. If you want to let me know that you're here but you don't want to leave a comment, feel free to leave any kind of emoji that to you symbolizes DNFing a book. Be creative. I hope that wherever you're on the world, you're staying safe and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Bye everyone.